Evening guys, hope you're doing well. Sat here on Sunday evening. I'll say it in advance because I'm not sure when this will go out, but I think I plan on uploading it probably Tuesday night. Thought I'd sit and have a pint with you guys, just have a general discussion. Got some Salty Dogs by Dan Tobacco. Got this in yesterday, I believe, or the day before. I think I got three pouches in to top up the cellar, but I realised when I went to put the three away, I thought I'd check my current supply and it was gone. I'd seemingly smoked it all, so I thought I'd take one of the pouches that was for the cellar and start it. I had a bowl earlier on, and I think I'll have another bowl now. Using my William Whitley knife. For those of you who haven't heard of William Whitley, as it says here, they were established in 1760. They are, I've been led to believe, one of the oldest, if not the oldest, scissor maker in the UK, or if they're not the oldest, they're at least one of the most well established and famous. But they came out with their first knife maybe about 3 years ago, and I thought, since as it was their first knife, I would purchase it. It's a really nice knife, extremely sharp, great balance, and great heft to it, really great weight. Yeah, really nice knife, and this is what I can use to cut my plug. Now I cut kind of both ways with a plug. I cut the short ways and lengthways. It depends. I don't notice too much of a difference. I would never cut like that. I would always cut with, as you can see here, I call that kind of the base and the top of plugs. I would always cut with the base and the top facing down. So you get kind of a mixture of all the leaves, not just one or two, because you don't know how it's been blended together before you approach that. Let's try and we can cut a flake here. Apologise if I'm being quite loud. Trying to cut a flake without cutting my finger off. That's a start. I always find Salty Dogs a great plug. One of the reasons why is because it's so hard to cut. I find, personally, the harder the plug to cut, the better the tobacco. There's something about flake tobacco. It's my favourite by far. Of course, all flakes were at one point in their life a plug before they were cutting the flakes. And to me, the reason I enjoy flake tobacco so much is I find that it's always naturally more sweet. It's kind of under the heavy compression. There must just be kind of a fermentation process that occurs under the pressure, and I find it molds and kind of connects the tobaccos really well. That should be enough. Don't need a too big a bowl. And yeah, that's part of the reason why I always enjoy flake tobacco over loose cut. I just find it gives me a much more naturally sweet, more rounded flavour. That's why you might notice that the majority of the tobacco I buy comes in flake form. Not to say I don't enjoy a nice loose cut from time to time. So again, for those of you that haven't seen Salty Dogs before, it comes in these 50-gram plugs, which always smell absolutely fantastic. Now, seen as this is a pouch, which as you can see, once you break the seal, it isn't airtight anymore. I would only leave this in the pipe for a day or two and no more. That's just my experience, because essentially it's fine in there for a few days, but anything more than that, because it's no longer airtight, it'll just dry out. That's why for my plugs I always make sure to have them jarred soon after. That being said, we'll get this lit. Give me a second. Just burn off the first little bit of the match. A tobacco that can be wet at times. You can take a few lights to kind of get it going properly. But again, with a very fresh plug like that, I do find that until you dry it out properly, it can take a good few lights to get started. But yeah, hope you guys are all doing well. Been really enjoying watching a whole host of YTPC content. Got my live stream, well, tomorrow night, but again, this is Sunday night as of filming, so I might be talking a bit in the past now. Appears I might not have any gas. At least that one does. But yeah, I'm really enjoying my tobaccos just now. But surprisingly, all tobaccos. I mentioned last week, I believe on my live at least, that I've started to smoke Latakia again, which is the first time in a long time. Previously, before that, I might have occasionally smoked the odd bowl of an English or a Balkan. Occasionally, maybe once every couple of months, to where over the course of the last year and a half, I might have had less than 10 bowls of anything containing Latakia. Whereas now, I've got quite the taste for it. In the last week, I've had a bowl of 1820 flake, a bowl of Swiss Special Latakia flake, a bowl of Northwoods, and I think I fancy a bowl of Stardust, which I might have on my live tomorrow night. But all exceptional tobaccos. And as you can see up there, that tin of Frogmorton, which I've got jarred, that's kind of calling to me. So I've not had a McClelland's Frogmorton or a McClelland's Latakia in a good long time. And I'm sure it'll be just as fantastic as I recall. I also made the mistake. I won't say who it is. They will hopefully receive the parcel in the next few days. I'll ship it out tomorrow. But I seem to be a bit clumsy when it comes to sending yabos out, if you want to call it, or kind of care packages. I put a few together over the last couple of weeks, different tobaccos to people in the YTPC. Who I've not sent anything to before, or some I have, or just gifting them some other things. And there's one person in particular who I said I would send them one particular blend. And I packaged it up in the workshop, because that's where I keep my tobaccos in the jars behind me. And I was working the other day in the workshop, and I thought, what was this parcel? And I realised that I hadn't sent it. I had sent everything else. But I said, obviously, all my pipes I ship from indoors. So, and of course, I don't forget about shipping my pipes. I always try and send them within 2 days of it being purchased to make sure it's out the door and on its way. But yeah, essentially, in the course of a week, I was putting together a few parcels that a parcel I'd already put together, I'd completely forgotten about. So I had to redo the shipping as it was too old. But I'll send it out tomorrow morning to to hopefully reach the customer. Sorry, reach the not the customer, reach the friend as soon as possible. But that was certainly a brain fart moment for myself. Straight away, the flavour of salty dogs is fantastic. To me, it's a Virginia Perique, but it's not actually too heavy on the Perique, unlike some blends. Not something I'm complaining about. I really enjoy Perique. It's something that when I first started pipe smoking, I was never a huge fan of. But as my palate kind of improved and progressed, I became a big fan of Perique. That's what you'll see me smoking the majority of the time, at least in some format. This is really nice. But yeah, pipe making's been going really well. As you can see in front of you, this pipe I've posted up yesterday. As of filming, it is still available. I'm not sure if it will be available when this video goes out. You'll have to check that. But as of filming, it is available. Bamboo pipe. I always love working with bamboo. It's something I really enjoy, although it's a lot of work. It's not easy at all, but it can be extremely rewarding, and the pipes are so light and balanced. I really enjoy that. And then when it also comes to pipe making, this here I very roughly sketched out. This is going to be a kind of a slight squat Rhodesian, which will be Saturdays available, all being well. Very roughly sketched, just the rough shape of what I hope to go for, although I'm going to change a few of these lines here and there. It's also just done now for a non-filtered pipe, but I think I'll change that to make it filtered. We'll probably start work on this on Tuesday or Wednesday when I have the time. And then this block here with the most amazing plateau, that angle there, kind of really tight plateau, will have the most amazing bird's eye base. I've done quite a quick sketch of what I think my next pipe will be in terms of my own pipe. I have two of my own pipes. This one here, which you guys know I smoke almost every second day. And then this pipe here, which is a very early Jack Ryan pipes. This is within the first 15 pipes I made. You can see the stem's quite rough. I've actually reshaped the stem, recut it, reshaped it, and just now need to finish it by sanding it up to a high grit. But yeah, so I only actually own two of my own pipes, and I thought I only have a few of these original blocks left, which I've saved for very special pipes. You'll see a few of the L grades have come from this batch, and a few of those really nice straight grain pipes I've done over the last 6 or 8 months. I've come from this batch of Briar, which is my oldest batch Briar too. This batch is about 3.5, 4 years old. And this block has the most amazing grain, to where I hope to make myself a bent apple. I haven't decided on the final shape. I think this is roughly what I'm going to go for. Although it might extend, I might make the shank a little tiny bit smaller to add on a horn kind of godette. I think it might look really nice. Or I might keep it really simple and just have the briar and the ebonite stem kind of and let it speak for itself. The grain's fantastic, but as you can see, it's quite a wide block. So I'm hoping with this kind of quite wide apple, I could have made this a lot smaller, but the reason I made it this shape in more kind of Danish in style, I would say, is that hopefully it will maximise the supposed bird's eye base, which I really look forward to. And that's kind of pipe making as of what's happened this week and what will happen next week. And then you can imagine I will hopefully enjoy as many pipes and cigars as possible. I know the weather is meant to be pretty good. I think mid to low 20s, which for us we've not seen for a couple of months, which always means a cigar for me. Whenever it's above 18 degrees in the UK and it's a nice warm day, that's for me the best time to get outside and enjoy a cigar, at least for me anyway. Because I do probably the majority of my pipe smoking indoors for no other reason than there's no wind, there's no weather that affects it. But I think that's quite a traditional way, is to enjoy your pipe indoors. Kind of sat down somewhere, relaxed, might be watching something or just with your own thoughts. Whereas a cigar, I find performs best kind of in nice hot weather, sat outside, might have a nice cold drink, or you might have a whiskey, a beer, or for me, recently, I've been enjoying some Oriental tea with my cigar. Of course, if it's a morning cigar or early afternoon, a good coffee and a cigar you can't beat. So that's hopefully on the cards. Which if it is, you'll probably see either a post on Instagram, or I'll make a little video about it, which I hope to actually bring to the channel. I thought about bringing some new stuff to the channel. I'm massively into coffee and wine. I'm into vintage watches, for example, to where, of course, that's my interest, but I'm sure other people might be interested in that too. To kind of bring a new aspect to the channel, not just pipes and tobacco, but also some other my interests. But then, what's the time? 17 minutes 30. Put this way, if you've made it this far in the video, and if you have, I will thank you, because I can't imagine a lot of you will have. I've probably talked on for too long now. But if you are interested in seeing some other things, leave a comment down below, because it'll be good to get some impressions first, instead of just sharing content that no one's interested at all. However, I know there's a lot of people interested in coffee in the YTBC, and I know there's a few people at least who are interested in vintage timepieces, so that might be of interest to some. Anyway, I've talked on for too long. I will finish this pipe. I will leave you guys to it. Hope you guys, well, again, this probably won't go out until the start of the week, so I hope you guys have a great week, a great rest of the week. As always, you can expect to see a few uploads during the week, and my regular Saturday available pipe post you should be on the lookout for. And I've got a few interesting things coming to the website too. I hope to change and improve over the next few days, especially in the commissions section. I plan on updating that whole section, so it's a lot more interactive. But yeah, that being said, hope everyone takes care. Have a great rest of the week. Cheers.